Mm. So how's it been? How's you been going?
Um, Ups and downs for sure. Um, well, I guess that's the story at least. Uh, I just blinked back into consciousness. I just awoke, so I'm still figuring it out. But um, but yeah, right now in this moment, I guess I don't know. I guess I'm doing all right.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how bad are the downs been?
Oh, the downs have still been pretty bad. Um, but I guess I'm just coming out of one now. So that's good, I guess. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I don't really have, yeah, I don't really know much to say beyond that, I guess.
So do you detect a different attitude when the downs are there? Or is it the same,
Yeah.
always been the same?
Hmm. I'm not sure what that means. You mean when I'm going through them?
Yeah. When they're active and in the middle of them. Is it still just overwhelming desire to end them?
Mm, man, I think it's just a feeling of a kind of overwhelm. It's hard for me now to remember them, yeah, I was just saying the other day that like when I'm in one, I kind of almost can't remember being out of one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty standard stuff, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, and now that I'm kind of out of it, I can't really remember what it's like to be in it.
yeah,
And so yeah, it's hard for me to say
yeah.
like I can't remember really if one is worse than if they're getting better or worse or if one is worse than the other. It's just kind of when I'm in it, I feel like I'm in it.
Mm,
I mean, I just vaguely remember that it's really difficult to feel good about anything. Um, so I don't know. I don't know if I could say.
mm.
Mhm.
When you're in it, do you remember whether you become aware that you're in it,
I become
or
aware
is
that I'm
there?
in it.
Yeah. So that do you ever say to yourself, "Well, I'm in one now. I'm in a downer. I'm having a downer." Does it ever
Yeah,
arrive like that, or do you not even think about that until afterwards?
I can usually tell when it's about to happen. And it's kind of like I'd say the physiologic signs are the things that I first notice. So for me, it's kind of sleep and appetite.
Mm,
And so, yeah, once I start, my sleep is kind of one of the first things where I'll just wake up in the middle of the night and I'll have difficulty going back to sleep. And then, the next day or a day later, I'll notice that, my appetite is like just nothing sounds good for me to eat. And honestly, a lot of times I'll notice that before my mood gets really bad. Um,
yeah,
and
with
it's
the
kind of like,
expectation.
yeah, there's definitely some expectation there where I feel those things. Like I'm just like, oh, my sleep is getting
Mm,
bad or my appetite's getting worse. And
yeah, and this means that I'm headed into a pretty
yeah,
unpleasant period, eh? Yeah. So what happens now? Is that the same now? When you see those
um,
signs that you're maybe going to go, or if you are for sure going to go into one,
um,
does that
yeah, I
bad
mean,
mood come on still?
yeah, it usually does. I mean, it's pretty reliable. That combined with about the timing, if it's like I've been feeling pretty good for about a week or two, and then I start to notice those changes in sleep and appetite. That's when it's like, oh, well, this is probably I'm headed for a turn, and then pretty reliably within a day or two. That's I don't know.
Mm,
I, I don't track it closely like I used to, so I don't really I don't fret about it. I don't think, but it just that's kind of how it goes. And it's funny, like the opposite is sort of true as well. Like I think about 3 days ago, I just noticed like, oh hey, I slept through the night. I had a full night's sleep. I went to bed at 9, and I woke up at 5 or something like that. Like that, things are changing, now for the positive.
right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm coming
And
out
does
of
that
it.
does that make you feel a bit elated?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I would say that I prefer it. Um,
Sure. Yeah. Quite understandable.
mhm.
Yeah. Mm. And it generally lasts, what, about 4 or 5 days, does it?
And if I'm in down mood, probably about 7 to 10 days.
Okay. Right. And that pretty regularly happens about once a month.
Mm. They're about once or twice, depending on how you slice it up. But yeah.
Mm. And is there a story somewhere floating around that says you're stuck with this for the rest of your life?
Sure. Yeah. Um, I mean, that's definitely there. When I'm in it, especially, I
Mm.
feel like when I'm out of it, when I'm doing okay, it's a little bit more. Um, I'm able to recognize it as a story more. You know, to be like, that's a
Mm.
story. That's something that's not happening now, and I'm able to kind of stay with the present a little bit more, which is kind of an intention that I think I have. But yeah, the story is there, and it's troubling at times when I'm really going through it. It's like, this is unpleasant. This is, I'm not really able to show up for the people around me, and this may be something that happens forever.
Mm. Do you find that you anticipate it happening even before those signs turn up? Does it part of you say, "Oh, well, it's around about time for it to come again"?
Mm, a little bit, not, but not that much, I would say, you know? Well, I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And the symptoms usually consistent, pretty much the same every time, or are there variations?
That seems pretty consistent to me as I remember them.
Mm. So the medication not helping it?
I just started on the medication maybe like a month ago at this point. Um,
It's probably early still, eh?
yeah, it hasn't helped much at this point, but
Yeah, those
we'll
things can
see.
take 6 weeks easy.
Yeah, yeah. So there's still some hope, I guess. Um, sure would be sure would be nice if they work, but we'll see.
Mm, mm. So at the worst of one of those, does it seem to be the worst in the middle of it, or does it start off worse and taper up, or does it start off less and taper down, or is it pretty much the same all the way through once it kicks in?
Mm, I feel like it's pretty much the same once it kicks in. There's maybe like a no, actually, I think it probably tapers down into like the worst part, and then it tapers back up into
Right, yeah.
uh,
So worst
thaws
is
out.
probably around about the middle of it, eh?
Yeah,
Mm. And how dark are your thoughts? How dark are the stories that happen at the worst time?
very
You know,
dark.
have thoughts about topping yourself,
Yeah,
just as a way of ending it, stopping it from going on, or
yeah.
relief from the
Well,
pain.
yeah. Um, but I would say it's less about like the current pain, or the whatever I'm going through in the moment, and more sort of forward looking, where it's just like
Oh,
this
okay,
is,
so the darkest thoughts are that it might go on
yeah,
forever. Yeah,
right,
right.
exactly.
Hmm. Suggesting that if you were able to, if it happens, that you come back into the present, as bad as it feels, it's not that bad, or not as bad as the idea that it might never stop.
You're right. It's it's in the present moment, it's going to be tolerable because it's, currently being tolerated. It's not pleasant, but it's,
Yeah, yeah, but you can live
survivable.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How big a darkness comes with the idea that in that state you're not available for other people, not accessible for others.
Well, that's a huge part of it.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
And I
huge
guess
part of it.
your kids are probably the prime protagonists in that one.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I don't know, I think especially when they're with me, like, which is odd. It's a bit backwards, but yeah, not being not being sort of available for them is yeah,
Yep.
that's a big part of the story.
Right. Yep. How much how much do you pretend in front of them that things are okay?
Hmm. I mean, a lot. I uh yeah, I'm trying to remember now. Like it's almost like they have no idea what's going on for the most part. And in a way, they kind of bring me into they bring me into the present a little bit because it's like I have to engage with them, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and you don't want to dump
Um,
all this stuff on them, do you? Mm.
Not at all, no. And it doesn't feel like I'm pretending. It kind of feels like I'm sort of surviving, you know? I'm just kind of clinging
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, so it's if it's not a case of you hiding the way you're feeling, if
Mhm.
you actually do rally when they're around, you do actually experience a better present when they're around. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's you could say that.
Mm. And it's not so much that they. I mean, this sounds a bit weird, but it's it's not so much that they cause you, their presence causes you to feel better as much as it's that you'd feel better for them.
Yeah, kind of. You know, the sort of the story that I tell myself now that we're talking about it is they kind of like pull me into the present. And you know, there's this feeling, this was just maybe a week ago, and it'll be the morning. The mornings are kind of the toughest when it's like, man, I have no idea what we're gonna do all day. I don't know how I'm gonna make it through this day, you know? But then we'll do it somehow. You know, we'll play with blocks or we'll end up going for a walk or something like that. And I'll feel like, um, I don't know, as it's happening, there will be all these things where it's like, this isn't
Yeah,
going how I want it to, or like this isn't going how I feel like it should, but it's just happening kind of how it happens, you know? And whatever comes up, you know, I deal with it. I don't really, I wouldn't say that I like enjoy it, but it's like,
yeah, yeah,
but it, you know, there's almost, I guess there's like less time to really ruminate about it. And
yeah,
in that
yeah. So I
way,
was thinking, you get with when you're with them, you get too busy to think about it.
kind of, yeah,
And if you're in this state when they're not around, then that's all you think about.
yeah, yeah, something like that.
Hmm. So do you get that? Can you see that this change that happens as a result of them being there isn't done by them from the outside, it's done by you from the inside, or it
Yeah,
happens that way. It's like, yeah, something changes in you. When let's not fool ourselves. We're not moving into a wonderful, blissful state, but at least we're not thinking about the darkness that's there when they're not around.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's right. This sense of responsibility and the sense of like alertness that I feel like I have to have is
Mm.
yeah, there's a really strong pull to like
Yeah, you say
you gotta be ready.
you say that you have to have it, but you don't
Hmm.
really have to put effort into making it happen, eh? Is it not that it's fairly spontaneously there?
Oh man. Yeah, I guess so. It's there's definitely a state of yeah, of like sort of hype almost involuntary hypervigilance. And I notice this when I'm like if they're sleeping in like the room across the hall or whatever, like I don't sleep as well because
Mm.
I'm any noise that comes up, like I think that's
Yeah,
I think it's them kind of like waking up and running over to me. And so it's kind of like that where yeah, it's not an effortful thing, but it's
yeah,
kind of uncomfortably involuntary.
yep. So do you know everything we've spoken about? Does it appear to you that it just happens, or does it appear to you that you are the instigator and creator of it, or both? Yeah, maybe in and out. Who knows?
I'd say it mostly just happens. Um, yeah, I'd say mostly just happens. There's still a feeling of sort of responsibility and ownership of what happens, but I wouldn't say that it's like created by me, you know?
That's a good one.
Mm.
That really cracked me up. That one.
Mm.
There's there's a sense of ownership, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the feeling is one of like apology, you know? Um, when if somebody sees me in that state, like there's a feeling of almost just like, sorry, this is what's happening right now, you know? Like it's almost like uh, if like my kid, you know, knocks something over of theirs, I might be like, sorry, you know, like that's not, but that's, yeah, that's kind of the vibe.
Mm. So it's interesting that something is different when the kids are with you, but it's not a conscious story. I mean, that may be involved, but it's like it's not the what is different is coming from. Well, the only way we can describe it from the outside to describe it would be to say that you feel you have a different relationship to life when your kids are around. But we don't you don't that story isn't a conscious story, is it? You know, apart from the odd thoughts that says, well, I should be available for them, etc. But essentially, most of the time, it's an automatic happening. And yet, we could imagine that there's a story there that says, well, you're doing this for your kids. You're doing this because they're there. But the reality is that just something that we can't define is different and it comes from the inside. And we can
Mhm.
presume that it's an unconscious story even, that there is that a different perspective on the world when your kids are around than there is when they're not around. So do you
Yeah,
get
I mean
what
that's
what
right.
what I'm saying is that it's not like you have to read out a story to yourself or narrate a story in thoughts at a conscious level. There's just this kind of knowing that you can be because experience tells you, shows you that you could be, and you're going to be different. You are different, and it comes from inside. It's like it's a bit of a mystery, in a way. How does it work? How does it happen? Well, we don't need an answer to that, but but it is valuable to recognise that it does happen. So if we could bottle the essence of that, whatever it is, and you could drink that when the kids are not around, you'd still feel like you do when the kids are around, and that is that it's much more tolerable, and you're busy in the present with whatever's going on. But when you're by yourself, that gets turned off, and even though you're busy in the present, you're also got this other distraction going on.
Well, yeah, I mean there's a lot more judgment about what's about myself and what's happening. Um,
Okay, right. That's not there when the kids are around, but it's much more
right.
dominant when you're by yourself. Right, gotcha. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So obviously that judgment is believed.
Yeah.
It's a credible magistrate or judge who's passing
Mhm.
sentence on you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's probably more time to sort of to ruminate on that. Whereas when the kids are around, I wouldn't say it's like this pleasant experience, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you're
It's
too
more
busy to do the
right.
judging stuff. Yeah, yeah.
It's a state of constant readiness. It does feel a little bit like a survival mode.
Mhm.
Like I don't think I could sustain that for you know, days and
Okay.
days and days.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a bit exhausting. You need a rest from it after a while. It's good when
Mhm.
the kids go to sleep, eh?
Oh yeah.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I just think that every parent would say that one. I think,
Hmm.
yeah, because they can be pretty demanding, especially when they're really young like yours. They go flat out, don't they, until they sleep themselves. They're like a dog, They go flat out, sleep for 5 minutes, and they're up and flat out again. Yeah.
That's how it feels sometimes for sure. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
So if we don't aim for some super pleasant state, if we just say, well, maybe that would eventually happen, but right at this stage, we just recognize that something inside you changes when the kids are there that has the effect of making those dark times more tolerable. We're not saying that it makes them pleasant by any means, but it's a lot more tolerable. Um, and if that were to happen and the kids weren't there, the exhaustion from the kids wouldn't be there either.
Hmm.
Now, it's easy to say, well, all we've got to do is stop the judging, but I mean that's not so easy to do, is it? That that
Hmm.
that that happens automatically. Do you listen to the words of the judgment when they happen? You actually hear, or are they vague enough to not be specific what I'm saying is if you listen to the details and the specificity of the judgment, they'll appear to be pretty quickly to be rather ridiculous judgments, won't they? But if you don't get into specifics and you stay at a distance, the simplistic notion is pretty easy to accept. That is, oh well, you're not a good person. That's pretty vague, isn't it? What are the details of that? Oh well, I'd like to be a, a better parent. I'd like to have more positive energy behind this, or what is it? What does the judgment say? Can you remember them?
I mean, there's one that's just like, I'm never going to be happy in this lifetime. Something like
Right.
that.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. Right. Do you get the non-specific nature of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look at it in closer detail, then you start to think, well, what is happiness? And is anybody happy all the time? And things like that start to show themselves when you look at the details a little bit. Whereas, oh, I'm never going to be happy. It's kind of, ooh, it's a bit of a coverall that keeps its distance so that it can do that.
Hmm.
So a
Yeah.
technique might be for you to listen to the judgment rather than just respond automatically to it, and then break it down into more details. Don't try and get away from it. Don't try and stop it. Go into it, but into detail. I'm never going to be happy. Whoa, never, ever for the rest of my life? Am I never going to experience a moment of happiness? What do I mean by happy? Am I going to be sitting here giggling? Is that what happy is? Or are we really talking about contentment? What are we talking about when we say I'll never be happy? So those
Yeah.
details start to, as soon as we get into the details, the judgment unravels. It's rather ludicrous to say I'll never be happy again. Of course you'll have moments of happiness, won't you? Yeah. Smoke a joint, you'll be happy for a moment. Then you'll be paranoid maybe, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
doesn't work. Never doesn't work at all. So okay, let's be more specific. Oh, maybe I'll frequently be unhappy, not or I frequently won't be happy. Is there a difference between I won't be happy and I'll be unhappy? See, these are the kind of examinations you can do of the judgment,
Hmm.
and you can put on one side of the page those things that hold, and just cross out the other ones that don't hold. So never doesn't work, does it?
Mm-mm.
So maybe frequently might work, or a couple of times a month. Well, that's 20 times a year. So let's say 20 times a year I might be. That's a lot different to never being
Yeah.
happy. Yeah. Does never being happy mean the same thing as always being unhappy? Maybe there's a neutral thing that's not happy, but it's not unhappy either. Maybe there's
Mhm.
just the details.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
interesting thing is that those judgments are repetitive things. You'll find that if you wrote them down, there probably wouldn't be more than half a dozen, maybe not even that many, and they'll go round and around. They'll repeat themselves. And once you
Hmm.
dismantle one, it can't go round again. Not the same anyway.
Hmm.
But we're not trying to kill them. We're just trying to look at them more closely. We don't want to fight. We don't want to start pushing and putting effort into. We just want to be clearer about what's actually happening. And it changes when we do that. That's all it takes to change it. A lot of the time, it's just being really clear about what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And the ramifications for that can be huge because what you can see is that there's this, call it a story, that has fuzzy edges. It's not really specific, and that appears to be there. Well, when I'm experiencing it, it feels like it's always forever. But there are times when I don't. Lots of times when I don't. And interestingly, if we do dismantle some of these things, it can feel a bit empty. It can feel like there's something missing because it was familiar. And sometimes weirdly, as humans, sometimes we prefer to hang on to something that hurts rather than feel nothing. Or what we imagine will happen is that we'll feel nothing. We'll feel dead. So we'll keep hurting ourselves. Well, maybe. Who knows? Also, we humans are weird, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. Hmm.
An
And
angle that just came to mind for, uh, I guess, digging into the judgment is would it have different, would it land differently um, rather than an example like I'll never be happy? Would something in you respond differently if it were somebody else saying you'll never be happy?
Hmm. I don't know. I don't think so. I think in that state, it's it's just it's a thought that is easily believed no matter where it's coming from. But I mean, it occurs to me it's also like in the moment we're talking about a state that for me right now is no longer here. So I'm just like trying to extrapolate um sort of from my memory of what happened, which is always a bit it's always a bit tricky, you know?
It's so
mm,
believable that it doesn't matter where it comes from. It's just like, yeah,
Yes.
that's true. I
Yeah.
believe that to my core.
Right.
And
Yeah. Like it's as believable if it comes from I think I'd be surprised if somebody else said it, you know? If somebody else said it, I'd be like, wow, it's the first time I've had such a full endorsement of this story, mostly because the people who are around me, who are like aware of this type of thing for me, are generally loving and supporting people, will either try to distract me away from it or somehow tell me that it's not true. And so I think in general, it would be surprising for someone to be like, yeah, that's right. You'll never be happy. You've messed your life up. Um, but, but yeah, I mean, I think if I'm in that sort of depressive state, I would be surprised, but I would just be like, yes, that's right. You know?
mm.
Ray, and can you describe your regular week or the day that you live? Like you wake up, what do you do
Oh,
usually?
you mean,
Do you
yeah.
do you have a job? Do you
So,
stay at home? Do you go out? What do you do?
um, so I'm guessing you're talking about when I'm having a depressive episode, sort of what the rhythm of the day is like. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so oof, it all kind of blends together, but I would say that usually I have a pretty bad night of sleep. Like I'll go to bed at night, I'll sleep maybe 3 hours, and then I'll just be waking up intermittently. I'll usually be like putting on some kind of meditation or something to try and get myself to fall back to sleep, but I'll generally wake up like every hour. And then in the morning, yeah, it's just a really, the mornings are probably the worst. I feel the worst. Like I don't,
Yes, you describing me like how you feel, and I interested in what do you do physically.
okay. Um, yeah, so eventually I'll get out of bed and I'll go to work and I'll
What do you do at work if it's not a secret? If you are not an
it's
FBI
not a
agent
secret.
or something.
No, no, it's not a secret. I'll, it's a lot of computer work. I'll sort of look through the computer and see how the patients are doing. And then at a certain point, I'll get my motivation up and I'll go see all these patients and talk to them about sort of how they're doing. And
Oh, so
The,
you're
um,
a, a doctor. Right.
yeah,
mhm, yeah,
and he
Mm,
works in a hospital.
mm.
that's right.
So do you do 5 days day shift, or do you do shift work, or how does that work?
Uh, I usually work days. Every so often I'll do a weekend call, and yeah, I don't know. It's pretty regular hours for the most part.
And evening in your free time, what do you do usually?
Um, Evenings, I don't know. I'll kind of sit around. I'll usually listen to a meditation or watch like a video about non-duality or something. Sometimes I'll go for a walk.
Listen to what? I had problems with the internet, probably.
Oh, it's okay. Like a video about non-duality or something.
Hmm. And do you have a routine of some kind of practice or something that you do, or you just like listening and
Mostly just
doing
listening.
something else? Yeah,
Yeah, I'll be sitting and listening or laying down and listening, or sometimes I'll take a walk and I'll listen, something like that.
yeah, yes, I see. And th- I like from my experience in those situations to have a structure
Hmm.
like in eating, in meditating, like something stable, like very stable. You wake up, for example, you meditate for half an hour. Yeah, do the same before you sleep, and don't change the meditation every day. Yeah, like give yourself at least like some time for something that you find that is helping. And in those situations, I find that routine and uh, stuff that you do every day is very helpful. it makes the mind stable and with time. And yeah, the results come with some time, but
Yeah.
it gives you stability, and it gives the nervous system the idea that you are safe, because like even when you feel really low, you still do your things every day, stable, and with some time it will give the system the confirmation that you are actually fine. If you're able to do it like this stably, it will feel stable. This is yeah, from my experience, what I had experience with some stuff like this, because I have heavy states for like 3 or 4 years that I tried to kill myself, and like really low, just lay down. And what really helped is that I started to have a job, to have apartment, that I have to yeah, to
Yeah.
do some practical stuff. It
Mhm.
really helped me with time, of course, and the daily
Yeah.
practice, but really, really stable. Every day the same, or at least every day half an hour, and when you feel that you can do an hour, yeah, and the hour, but you have to have some minimum of stability, like something that you
Yeah.
know you can do it every day, even if it's 10 minutes, but something that would be stable, and with some time you can increase it, because when we just letting it go, like listening to stuff, the mind will always chose like something comfortable and easy, and in those states it's easy for us to stay in those states. Mind do not like changes, and you have to change right now. So it's not the right time to just be spontaneous and do whatever you feel, because it will not work. You have to have
So
some structure for some time.
so do you have a routines and structure? I guess you would have a different routine when the kids are with you than when they're not. But do you normally go to bed at the same time, or normally eat at the same time?
Not currently. Yeah. Yeah. I think right now I'd probably go with the flow. More so than having structure. I'm still kind of sorting it all out. But I think it's a good point for sure. And I appreciate it. Thank you, Anton.
Yeah, you don't have to be rigid about it, but doing things like if you, for example, when the kids are there, you say, well, the evening meal is going to be at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. or something, whatever it is, whatever you decide on. And that's what you attempt to do every day while they're there. And then when they're not there, you might change that to be a bit later when you're just by yourself, or not. But again, you can have routines within routines, but it's the structure that Anton is talking about that becomes predictability, that Yeah, I need to listen to that one myself. It's always
Ray,
a
when
joke every day when my wife says, "Well, what are we going to have for tea tonight?" Because I cook, see. And I go, "Well, I don't know. Not right up to the last minute. I don't know. We'll work it out." Yeah. Having that structure, that routine, good value. Should do a menu.
Mm.
Ray, when I heard you say go with the flow, is there something, are there thoughts there that say, I'm just thinking of like all of the non-duality content out there. Like I shouldn't need structure. I should be able to just go with the flow of life. And so structure seems like I'm going backwards. Are there thoughts related to that are
A
kind of
little
like
bit. Yeah.
structure can
Yeah.
feel like the wrong direction? Like I should be able to go with the flow.
Hmm. Yeah, I think there's some element of that, and staying in the present as much as possible is sort of, I mean, that's been an orientation that I've been I would say that it's like a guiding principle for me. Um but I mean it's tricky. It's different. Like there's times where I feel like that works out well, and then there's times where, it doesn't, and I probably do need quite a bit more structure just to get through the day. And well, I don't know. I guess I'm open to both, and but
There is an interesting one that says you can be going with the flow of the structure.
mhm,
So it's not like you have to eat because the clock says it's that time. If you do that on a regular basis, your belly will say it's time.
yeah, yeah. I think it's something I'll probably have to experiment with a little bit.
Yeah, and in many situations, structure will, uh, after some time, you will feel it. You will feel free out of that. It's like the opposite around. It's not always like this. It's like sometimes it's like this, and sometimes it's not. I had many years of structure that really helped me, and then I felt that I need to release it, and I released it. But it's like for every situations you have a different solution, and it's not like some situation is higher and some is lower. It can be otherwise around. Everyone have like this. Everything is different.
Mm.
And you will have to feel, yeah, it's not that you have to do everything rigidly structured, but you will feel in some things you will have to have some flexibility. In others you will have structure and you will find your own way. But yes, but I had an app of habits, and every day in the evening I checked, yeah, like morning meditation, evening meditation, some kind of stuff that I did, exercises, like, and every evening I checked that a gratitude journal, yeah, stuff like this. And
Mhm.
every day I did it for a couple years.
Mm.
And when I felt stronger, I felt that I need to release it. And I did it gradually, not in one day.
Mhm.
And with the habit, you can start one habit. After a week, another habit. After another week, another habit. Yeah, I started with like you can start 5 minutes meditation in the morning, then increase, and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because when the mind is like crazy monkey, when you just give it freedom, it will eat shit and it will be okay for it. It like doesn't care. So it have to be habitual until it's not stable enough to not eat shit,
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's funny, but this is how it
Yeah.
works.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with meditation is a really interesting one. So I recently, I don't know if it's out yet. I don't think it is. But I did a song and a story about meditation, and what came out of it for me was that I really liked what AI came up with, saying that you might not wake up from meditating, but it will clear the room. It kind of it has much value in doing that, and so that's that settling down chaotic thoughts are a big thing. Seeing this, discovering the spaces between thoughts, or the lack of insistence in thoughts, is something that meditation will do. And you don't need to do an hour at a time. I mean, you might get to the point where you want to do an hour at a time, but even just doing 5 minutes to start with, in fact, I found 5 minutes was impossible to do, because, you sit down and you think it's 5 minutes and it turns out to be more like 15 minutes. Time changes when you're doing it. So there's good value in doing it. And you will get to the point where when you just think of the word meditation, and you'll feel a wave come over the body and it will change. Just thinking about it, not even doing it. It's just that comes from doing it a bit regularly. So, 5 minutes can be all it takes to change things, to shift your perspective.
Usually, those are not pleasant 5 minutes in the beginning for a long time. And the idea that helped me is that the more my experience is not pleasant, it's good. And it's really it just to make the mind to be okay with all states. So it doesn't have to have samadhi or to have anything. If it's crazy, it's the best, because you will be with some time okay with every state, and you making it happen by not being okay, but sit with this anyway. So it's counterintuitive. So it's important to have it in my mind. Otherwise, after some days you will just stop because it's not helping me, and it's not supposed to help. It's supposed to to give you the, I don't know how to say, stamina, just to stay with everything without running away from it or trying to change it. And you will try, like this is the process. You will try to run away and you will try to change, but less and less and less and less.
And it's certainly more valuable, 1,000 times more valuable than just listening to a non-dual or watching a non-dual video on YouTube. You know, that's pretty much always just a distraction, just looking for a high. If you can take one sentence out of a non-dual video and actually apply it to your life, that's a different story. But if you just watch it and then it's gone, that's you might as well watch a soapy on television. It's just a distraction. Doesn't matter who it is or what they're saying. If you're not actually taking a sentence and applying it to your life, no point. It's a bit. A good way to see it is like exercising. You know, you want to get fit to run a marathon. You know, you could put yourself through discomfort to do that. You know, I don't believe in no pain, no gain. You don't have to take yourself to the level of pain, but you got to do it. You got to do a bit of running. And every day that running will get easier because you're getting fitter to it. Even though it might not seem like it, might be quite a while before you realise that you can run for a lot longer, a lot further than you used to be able to. But it happens. It's the same with the meditating, just a different muscle that you're exercising, so to speak.
Yes, and it's not the ultimate thing, but it right that it's just making the room clean for what have, I don't know how to say, like in the end, the meditation is not something you do. It's always here, but you have to have space for it to be seen. So the only thing that it seems that we can do is to make space.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And all the stuff that you are hearing that the people speak, yeah, it's like it's easy to speak from that space, and yeah, it's nothing happening. It's all just freedom, but it's not always appropriate to like I don't know. It can be a way of avoiding life by concepts and not by reality. Like, I don't know how to say. Like, I'm not doing anything. It's all happening anyway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's true on some level. Even the stuff that we spoke right now, and if it will make some change in your routine or not, it's not something that you do, but you hear it, and a thought can come, and something will may happen, yeah, or not. So it's not that it's all just or nothing happening or I have to do everything. It comes together. It just happens like this. We feel that we can change something, not really, but we feel and we do. And it's an illusion, but like this is life. This is how it works. So
what do you do
until
when you meditate, Ray? What form of meditation have you done?
Um, Gosh, when I meditate, I sit there mostly. I mean, sometimes I'll do the self-inquiry, I guess, where I'm sort of identifying thoughts as they come up, and then I sort of look and see who the thoughts are occurring to, you know? I'm looking for the space in which the thoughts are arising, sort of. And then other times I'll just sit there and kind of I mean, I guess that it feels similar, but I'll just sit there without really the agenda. And those are kind of, I would say those are sort of the two main things that I'll do. If there's, if that makes any sense.
Hmm. So when you're doing that, when you're say watching for the space that thoughts come up,
Mhm.
if I were to do that, I would probably find that within a few seconds, I forget to do it, and my mind is just off doing something else.
Hmm.
It kind of doesn't matter what you do. Watching your breath go in and out is a good one because it's really straightforward and you've got all the tools there to do that. Again, you'll watch your breath come in and out, and then suddenly you realize that you're not doing it anymore. Your mind is off, wandering off, looking at something else. So you bring it back to watching your breath again. And you don't even know when your mind goes away from that. You just realize that it's gone away and it's been away for some time. We don't. So you bring it back again. If you
Mhm.
just do that for a couple of minutes each time, you get better and better at staying with watching your breath go in and out. And it's amazing how people can't do it. People give up because they say, well, I fail, even though they're getting better at it. So it'd be a good exercise for you to do something along those lines. Don't, looking for the space where thoughts come from. Yeah, that's a good one, but it's a bit tricky, a bit difficult, isn't it? Start with something simple. Just watch your breath go in and out. If you're breathing through your nostrils, become aware of the temperature of the air coming in, which will be cooler than the air going out, which will be warmer. And just watch that. Breath in, breath out. Just watch it. And when you realize that you've stopped doing it, just go back to doing it again. And say in the beginning, just do it for 3 or 4 times and then forget about it. Go and do something else. But each time, imagine that you can do it for an extra breath. And pretty soon you'll be doing it for 10 minutes and then 15 minutes, whatever. But the whole thing is that regardless, that's irrelevant. That whole thing is irrelevant. When you get up, you'll feel different.
Or not, and it's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Mm.
It's important. Otherwise, like, you will search for some experience, and can be tricky. Like, it's really the thing is not to search for experiences. This is
Yeah,
really
yeah,
otherwise you will be one day elated and other day
yeah. Yeah. Oh,
disappointed.
especially watch the judgments, especially, I'm good at it or I
Yeah.
failed it.
And
Or
it's not
everything in
about
between.
the experience, really. All the samadhi, it's not about this. It's uh, about the okayness with any experience. It's not the experience itself. And from that standpoint, you are already okay completely, because any experience that you have is okay. It's just that you are maybe right now not seeing it in that way, but it can change, and it's okay as well. So it's important to always remind yourself that I'm actually, as I'm feeling and as I'm thinking right now, it's okay. This is how it should be. And it can be a way of meditating as well. Just sitting and being okay with as it is. It's actually the highest meditation as I see it. And just living everything as it is right now. And if it happens, it complete surrender. And then everything, like, everything may stop if you are not stopping it. It's unexplainable. But it can be really helpful to do mindful breathing. I like to the lower stomach because it take the energy from the mind to the center of your physicality, or as you said, to just the space that thinks. It's not really thinking, but everything, all the thoughts and feelings are really arising from this a place without a place. It's like, so everything that arising is like a tool to go to, to, to that place, which is not a place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like the receiver almost. And just but it's like a space. And so yeah, I don't know. I meditate sometimes. But yeah, I don't have a super regular practice of it.
This is the only thing that I'm continuing as a habit, as a it's a meditation in the beginning of the day and meditation in the evening. This is the only thing that I'm loving it. I'm not stopping doing all the other stuff. I just release and it's all spontaneous as it happens. But the two meditations I'm continuing doing, and maybe I will continue like till I die, and it's okay. I love it. It can be different for everyone, of course.
Mm.
And I took for like 5 years of the time that I like started to have a job and uh, to start living. For 5 years, I took a pill, and it's quite heavy pill. Like it's for the I don't know how you call it. It's Clonex. Maybe you know. It's not antidepressant, but it's more heavy. It's like you take it for the moment to have the system relax, like for the nervous system. And it's because of the meditations in yeah, I'm not taking them for 2 years already, and my life is absolutely like different. Like I feel better without them than I felt with them, and they really helped. Actually, it's not that yeah, they helped, but they repressed the system, though, all the feelings and emotions. And with time, I start to just feel everything. And with time, I did not need to repress. And usually it can take years, but you have to be stable.
Yeah.
At least like this is what I experienced. And then you die.
Yep. That's the ending of the story always. Yeah.
Well, we think it is. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
And it's really helpful sharing. If, for example, last week I shared about the sexual drive, and it really helped me. Like, I saw things, I spoke and I saw things differently, and it helped me. Not an issue anymore. I had some sex this week, but it's like when it stopped being an issue, it flowed like naturally. Everything is just, it's not a problem.
Yeah, it's amazing how expression changes things. How it does it, what it does, I don't know, but yeah, to just say something out loud can be life changing. Really amazing what can happen. Yeah. So all this talk of meditation has put me into a bit of a meditative state. My body, at least, is kind of feeling that way, and I haven't meditated for ages, for a long time. But as I said, I did a story about it recently and a song about it as well, and clearing the room. And one of the things that it pointed out quite largely is that, see, that's if we talk about meditation as something that we do, it's a doing, then we're focused on something different than if we observe that meditation is happening. And if we do that, if we're just aware that meditation is happening, in whatever form, it doesn't matter, that then it becomes really obvious that there's no body, there's no person doing the meditating. Meditating is just happening. Well, this thing we call meditation. So stuff is just happening with a really gross label called meditation over the top of it. But yeah. So then it does more than just clears the room, then it is a pathway into awakening. When there's the realization that, yeah.
They have a beautiful saying in Zen that it's not that you practice for the realization. It's like it's all one. The realization is the practice. It's all, so it's not something that you achieve in the future. In something that is here, and you practice this. Like, you not practice something other than this. There is nothing other than this. So it's not really a practice,
Yes.
but we have to use some words to speak.
Yeah.
But as I started, I was practicing. I was, and I tried different stuff, and I tried the mantra and breathing. Like, it took time until it became effortless, and it's so. And it's effortless on some level. It's like, it's just that there is understanding that I'm not meditating. I'm just as less I trying to do something. The more the meditation that is already here, is just visible.
Mm.
So it's all about the non-action, not about action
Yeah.
as it seems in the beginning. It's like you change sides with time. Like you're meditating, and then like you just see how sometimes meditating and sometimes no meditating, and then there is the real meditation. So it's like
Yeah. It feels like immersion here. And so it can be not restricted to sitting. It can be when anything is happening.
yes, it is always here. It's just that in some situations I find that it's appropriate like to have something stable when you sit and you just do
Mm.
nothing, or until it's not really seeable that there is no need, and still you can just sit, because you love it. You have no distractions. You can just, as you said, immerse yourself more wholly, as it is, like less distractions.
Mm.
But yeah, sometimes more, like you can have the two meditations during the day and the real like some, but it's all experiences. And then while acting, you have an a more full experience, but it's all experiences, so it's not really, so it's blending. It's not so. I will
Oh,
have to
I gotta.
finish. You
Yeah.
too.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I have to go get up and get ready for the day as well, but I'll keep listening in. Thank you guys very much.
See you, Rick.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, and I will have to leave. I'm still at work. So. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah.
Do you meditate, Jeremy?
I don't do it much anymore. Or at least I don't do it as a task.
Mm.
Um, I used to a lot. Uh, I don't know if you noticed a smile or a smirk on my face for the last parts of the conversation when we were talking about meditation, but I was just laughing about how much I used to have a schedule of meditation. And I guess the story that I tell myself now, or as I look back, it was more of a way for me to get in the habit of bringing my awareness to my current experience as fully as possible, all the senses and what was
Mm.
coming into my awareness. But
Like
at
a
a
mindful
certain
practice.
Yeah, but at a certain point, I didn't need to schedule time in order to have that be more of my experience. Um, it became more the default. Not always the default, but
Yeah.
it was much more accessible for me in a split second to shift into that sort of meditative experience in whatever activity I was doing.
And do you think that was because of the practice you did beforehand or because something else happened?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I I do think that there's some uh, that all of that practice helped to enable it. It was easy. It was easy to shift into that in a moment without having to, do a lot of deep breaths and take 10, 15 minutes to settle things down, whatever those things were.
Mm.
Um,
So
yeah.
could you identify a region in the body as um, affected, if you like, by this meditative state? Do you have do you recognize a particular sensation or flavor of sensation that says you're in that state? All right, now let me. So what I've recognised is that for me, that when I've got into that meditative state because we were talking about it and so on, it was very much, it was in my back and my chest and my torso area. Whereas when I talk about a hypnotic state, I feel it in the back of my neck
Hmm.
a lot more. I can feel I can get into a different state there. So it does have specific, for me, specific bodily experiences to be, so that's why I said immersion. It feels like immersion. It feels like my whole torso is swimming in some lower gravity or something. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah.
What you just made me realize is that when I was doing that more regular practice, um, where meditation was the activity, uh, it was like my experience was the bringing my awareness into my body and taking deep breaths was what caused uh, this sort of meditative awareness
Mm.
or state. And when you just asked me the question, um, like how does it show up or how do I experience it? Um, I think now it's that the the deep breath comes after bringing my awareness to my current experience, like getting out of whatever um, the action or the thoughts, more like the hustle and bustle of whatever's occurring. I don't need to stop, close my eyes, and take a deep breath. It's almost like the breath happens after.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
it happened earlier in this meeting. Um, when we first started talking about meditation, um, my awareness went into my body, and then the breath happened. And I'm finding that so fascinating right now. I never noticed that before.
Mm.
Before, it was, maybe another way to put this is that it seemed like I was controlling a deep, slow breath, and then I calmed down.
Mm.
Whereas now, or deep, slow breath, calm down, my awareness is more fully in my experience and out of my head. I shouldn't say full experience, more the like bodily sensations are probably the strongest versus like sight and smell,
Mm. Mm.
sounds. Um, so deep breath, slow down, awareness of my body. And it, I guess I might even say that it's inverted, where now it's like I can bring my awareness into my body in a split second, and then the slow,
Mm.
deep breath just happens. I'm not
It
trying to
follows.
make it happen.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
stop it from happening.
Mm. I noticed also that the out breath is longer than the in breath in that state for me. And it was really weird because after I first noticed that, which was a long time ago, I notice it all the time now. There's quite a different quality to the out breath is almost a collapsing of the chest and the letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And it inspires me to meditate again. uh, I had a particular cushion that I used to use, an old lounge cushion that was just perfect for sitting on, cross-legged. I don't know where it is anymore. It's been such a long time since I used it, but having that prop, I think, was helpful, because just pick it up and take it somewhere to do meditating almost in itself induced a state. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's making me curious now too, because where it's like earlier there was a sense that I needed it,
Mm.
and I don't have that sense that I need it anymore. But now I'm just more curious about
Yeah.
what 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 would happen if I started meditating an hour a day again.
I wasn't thinking of an hour. I'll give it 12 minutes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Curiosity is a big one. Yeah, what would happen? Yeah.
Another thought, I'll share this because it keeps coming up. Um, Earlier, I don't know if it was you or Anton that said surrender. This I don't know, it might have been a good hour ago.
Mm, I don't remember.
It reminded me, yeah, that's all the word it took. A couple of years ago, I was deep in the seeking, the searching, and I went to one of Angelo DeLulo's retreats. I don't even remember exactly what he said now throughout all like the whole week of it, but there was something to the effect of um, like surrendering to whatever's happening. And in that moment, I thought, I was like, wait, this is this is all I need to do. Like no matter what happens in my life, if I can surrender to that, not feel like I need to control anything, and to borrow from Pernilla, just like be okay in a body that is experiencing with it, whatever's happening. That hit me as like a major thing, coupled with I don't I don't need to wake up if that if that's all I need to do. Wait, wow. Like it was mind blowing in that moment that I
Yeah.
didn't need to keep looking for something that was gonna bring me nirvana. Like
Well,
all I need to do is just be okay with whatever's happening.
yeah,
What? Like what?
yeah,
I and I think there was a couple days left in the retreat, and at the very end, like finally everybody's talking to each other. Um, and I remembered standing in a line to just like go say thank you to Angelo. I'd never met him. We'd never talked, and I just wanted to say thank you and shake his hand and like share how much that like seemingly
yeah,
inconsequential moment had on me. I'm like, and I'm standing in line and I started crying when I realized how much it would mean, like all of these years of me trying to find some secret thing to escape all of my misery and stress and suffering. I'm like, wait, this is, I don't, what the, like, I was like, I don't need to keep looking anymore.
yeah,
And
yeah. That's it.
it was so weird
Beautiful.
that like nothing really happened, but everything
Yeah.
was different. I had no better skills. Like I wasn't better
Yeah.
at meditating. I didn't. Yeah.
Didn't need to do anything. Exactly. Yeah. Look, I just so with you. Yeah. My experience was the same thing. It was just like, oh, this is it. There you go. The whole world shifted to a different perspective. as a result of that. Yeah.
And
So
all when you just said this is it, I remembered like it didn't things weren't clicking and I didn't understand what that meant. Or tons of other things. And then the like in some ways it became so much more literal. Like, wait, there isn't going to be there isn't going to, or there doesn't need to be some big, huge shift. Like this,
yeah,
it's like I was expecting
yeah,
ecstasy
yeah.
or euphoria
Oh, I feel
when
euphoric
it's
now when you're talking about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I just had the thought from my own experience, and I'm kind of applying, I'm projecting it out onto you as well, that part of that shift was a recognition that there's no such thing as awakening or enlightenment. There is just that acceptance of this, no fighting, no resistance, and everything's different. Nothing's changed, but everything's different.
Yeah.
I didn't realize at the time that there was no such thing as enlightenment or a waking up. Now I do, because it's so ordinary, it's so present, it's so always here. Unless, unless you haven't had that shift and you're still seeking, and then it's an impossibility. Yeah. But once that happens, once that experience that you had, this experience that I had, once that happens, wow, everything is different. Well, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's hilarious, and it's yeah,
I just thought of something else that I don't know that I had the thought of before, and that is that all of the things that I thought were problems to be solved are things that I had to do. Not, it's not that they weren't potentially worth doing or that I wouldn't solve them. It was that solving them wasn't going to change anything.
mm,
Like, oh, the dishes need to be done. Oh, or maybe that's not the best example, but it's like every every problem that I thought I had to solve was something that my thoughts and my mind were telling me that this is a thing that you need to go solve and that things will be different. You will feel better, you will be happier when you solve this thing. And it's like when I started to become more okay with whatever was, like when maybe another way to put it is that when I realized that the only thing is just to be okay with whatever is happening was like
mm,
what um once I was more regularly in that mode, I'm okay when the house is dirty. um so going through the effort to clean the house isn't going to make me more okay. I'm still going to be okay.
mm,
And so all of the like the stress and the having to rush through my day to chew through a bunch of my to-do list to solve all the problems that were
mm.
not ultimately going to change things because I was still going to be okay with whatever
Yep.
was like being experienced. It was actually kind of difficult because I for a short while, I became very, I don't even know the words to describe it. It's like, well, nothing matters now. I don't need to, I don't need to do anything or care about anything because none of it is going to make any difference. And so, if anything, I became like pretty lazy and started taking less care of myself. Or I mentioned my house. Went a little bit too far with it for a moment, but
Yeah, but that's life, isn't it? It's a constant experiment. You know, we go one way and we swing back the other way, and yeah, it's a constant movement. Nothing's static.
I mentioned this last time, I think, where I think I was showing appreciation for having calls like this where people whom I've, I don't know, feel a sense of respect or see as having more wisdom in this whole whole realm of awakening or non-duality, whatever words you want to throw at it. Like having you describe that things like anger or reactions, like those can still happen. Um, but the experience of those things happening is very different. It's like I'm more aware of like, oh wow, something in me is really triggered right now. Isn't
Mm.
that interesting?
Yeah,
um, you're not wrapped around the axle.
yeah,
You're
exactly. Yeah,
just sort
yeah,
of watching the axle spin really fast.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if it's an analogy, but the story that I like now is that the hero at the end of the journey, which of course is all bullshit. There's no hero and there's no journey and there's no end to it. But the hero at the end of the journey is the person that doesn't mind whatever turns up. Just simply that. And he doesn't mind, and this is a tricky one, doesn't mind, he or she, I said he, doesn't mind that he does mind if that turns up.
Hmm. I laughed because just this morning before I woke up, went into my bathroom before the call, and it's bitterly cold here in Minnesota right now. Uh, it's like 5 below Fahrenheit. We're just maybe around 20 below Celsius.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
cold.
cold. And when that happens in my house, we often hear scratching from something in the attic that is trying to find warmth. I think it's probably a mouse, maybe a squirrel. We don't know.
Mm, mm.
Uh, this was the first time that I heard it and didn't immediately feel like, oh shit, this is a problem that we have to solve right away because
Yeah,
it's gonna be, and not just this is a problem we have to solve, but I'm like annoyed and frustrated that we got an animal in the house and what are we gonna do and how are we gonna fix this and how much is this gonna cost and what a
yeah,
pain in
yeah,
the
yeah.
ass. And this morning it was like, oh, I hear something scratching.
It's just that,
It's
yeah.
probably an animal that's cold, and it didn't have the sting that it's had in years past.
There's a lot of that used to be a, a really almost explosive reaction to certain things. And now there's almost no reaction to just okay. Yeah. We discovered a couple of cockroaches crawling around the garage floor yesterday. And it was really interesting to watch the impulse to kill them or not kill them, to do something about them. And it was really quite objective, you know. There was no emotion, there's no kind of repulsion about the fact that they were there anymore, you know. They're just something to be dealt with. That's it. Yeah.
My dogs can still get me going pretty easily.
The dogs.
Yeah, we've got two larger dogs. They've got pretty loud barks. And I work in this space, and they're often hanging out with me. And we've got windows over here that face the street and the sidewalk. And it can be
Another dog walking past.
Calm and quiet, and out of nowhere, it's like the tornado siren level of like volume. And I think my dog is seemingly like losing its mind and is just unhinged. And so actually that's interesting. I think that's one thing that I can have less acceptance of, is like what it feels like for me to be in a calmer, accepting state, but having someone around me who's not. I tend not to like the experience of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
whether it's a human or a dog.
Yep, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like I just want to shake them and say, relax. It's okay.
Yeah, our dog will do the same kind of thing. It'll really be look out the window and see another dog and it'll bark at it, you know. But sometimes things can be so quiet and calm, and then all of a sudden it's instant, there's loud barking, you know, going on. So it startles me. I jump, you know, when that happens, and then following the startle comes anger. Sometimes, not so much these days, but it certainly still happens, you know. And I realized a long time ago I could tell my dog to shut up, stop it, doesn't have any effect. All I do is add to the noise. So I tend not to do that these days. But if it keeps on going, I will, you know. Yeah.
I've always wondered whether they think that we're like joining in on the barking because we're yelling, and they're having the opposite reaction to it. They think that it's supporting them.
Yeah, it may be the case. Yeah. Who knows? But people who are agitated and so on, that's a different story. But, you know, yeah, I tend to have more tolerance for them than for the dog. Unless, yeah, it's probably different if they're doing it towards me directly. But, you know, yeah, I kind of feel much more accepting these days that people have got their own shit that they're going to go through, and regardless of how I see it, that's what's going to happen for them. how much they express it. Yeah.
Actually had an interesting interaction with, I think it was last weekend with my wife. Um, she was having a rough morning. Agitated, frustrated. And it was, I remembered like feeling that reactivity arise in me, or maybe more of that like aversion. It's like, oh, this is, I'm feeling annoyed. I'm feeling disturbed.
About her
And
reaction to her rough morning, or about her rough morning itself?
about how trying to figure out the best way to do it. This wasn't exactly what was happening, but to paint the general picture, like stomping around, huffing and puffing,
Okay, her reaction
making
to what was going
making
on. Yeah.
comments about things that were kind of like uh, what I was interpreting as somewhat like maybe passive aggressive, seeing something that needed to be picked up and making a comment when I'm within earshot and she wants me to hear it because she's pissed off that something's messy. Um, and so I was feeling these sensations of like, oh, I just like wanting to push that away.
Mm,
And I was like, I don't like that I'm feeling this push away from my wife. Like I love her. I like to be around her.
mm.
I want to feel closer to her and have a
Yeah,
strong
yeah.
connection, and be a partner. And it had probably continued for a couple hours. And at one point, um, I had shared that like I think I said I want to feel like we are close, if not like coming together over time. And right now I'm feeling this push away from you. And I I I don't want to I don't like that. I'm feeling like I want to push you away. And I just want to share that I'm having some difficulty just being around you right now. And I don't like that I'm having that. And what was different was that I came I came to her in that with a not with um like aggressive
Mm,
tone. It was like I want to feel close to you and I'm feeling so much resistance. And I just want you to know that that's how I'm kind of showing up right now in our house and around you. And she's like, "Oh, you're right." She's like, "I am just pissed off today. I don't like anything. And
mm,
I probably just need to get out of the house." I'm like, I'm not necessarily saying that you need to go away. Um I just want you to know that it like if you're looking for me uh to come closer and to help and to assist, like it's challenging right now. Like I'm
mm.
feeling resistance to being supportive and loving. And I don't like it, but that's what's happening.
Yeah,
um and
yeah.
it
But you were being supportive and loving in telling her that. Presumably, we've actually had a similar discussion to this one before. Presumably, she didn't uh, react as if you were blaming her for what you were feeling. She saw where you were actually coming from, which was a really good thing, and you were offering her love and just explaining you were being responsible for what you were feeling. You know, you weren't blaming her. You were telling her how you were feeling. Which is a great thing. If history would have shown that she would then respond to that by saying, well, you're feeling shitty and it's my fault, that just adds to her shittiness. That wasn't something you expect, eh?
Yeah. I think there was a little bit of that in her response because her immediate reaction was, oh, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna get in the car and drive away, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I don't know when I'm gonna come back. But I'm just, I guess I just need to go away, um,
Mm.
which wasn't my intention, and she didn't end up doing that. Never asked her about this after the fact, but I'm wondering how much of it was just like her being seen and me
Mm.
acknowledging that, like, I can see that you're having a tough go today.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. So it could be taken that you were being passive aggressive if you were saying, I feel shitty and it's your fault. But I didn't get that that's what you were doing. And because I imagine I know a bit about where you're coming from, because I similar experience here, that wasn't, it may well be that your response to her expression of her shittiness, your response to that was somewhat defensive. It was, the unpleasantness of it was that you were touched by it. But that's fine. I mean, that happens, doesn't it?
The thing I was thinking for a moment, like, why did I even go down this rabbit hole? It's the it's a distinction between I am much more okay these days with whatever is happening within me
Yeah.
when it's things that I feel like my being is accountable for. I guess it's largely like my thoughts and how I'm interpreting things that are
Mm.
happening that are under my automatic control, under
Mm.
my body,
Yeah. Yeah.
but my
Yeah.
body and mind's control. But when it's a disturbance that comes from the outside, whether it's my dog, or in this case, it was a
Mm.
peaceful Saturday morning, and my wife was coming in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah. So
It's
so
better than it used to be, but that's probably one
yeah.
area that I'm more reactive to now. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of really interesting situation. So at one extreme, one could say, why did you have a reaction at all? Why didn't the story pop up that said, she's having a shitty time and I can't do anything about that for her? So therefore, it's nothing to do with me, and I'm having no reaction whatsoever, which is a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's at one extreme. And the other extreme, of course, is to aggressively try and manipulate the situation by saying, stop being that way, or even, can I help you do something to fix it, to make it better, uh, which is still an aggressive kind of way of going about things. So there's this very reasonable place where it is a disturbance. It is something, and it's appropriate to, let's say, establish a boundary, at, which is that I don't like it. But I don't like it's not really saying you've got to stop it. It's just saying I'm aware of what's going on inside me. I don't like it. And if it were to continue, there would still be acceptance of it.
Yeah.
So there is no right or wrong situation. It's just what it is. Yeah. But there's a difference. See, with the dog, there's the startle response, which is, very, very basic biological kind of situation. Whereas with her, the situation is that she's huffing and puffing and carrying on. Then it requires story to apply meaning to what's going on. We're not relating directly to and only to the huffing and puffing. We're saying that means that something is happening.
It reminds me of a thought that arose earlier, where maybe it's a crude analogy, but like thinking of our experience as being or maybe thinking of consciousness as like an antenna, and there are signals that you can pick up on, and the point is to simply pick up the signals and be aware of them. Like, you can't control the inputs. Tuning into whatever the radio frequency is transmitting is out of your control. All you can do is just pick it up and and experience it.
Yep.
And then I think that, like in this case, there was a what's the word? Interference. There's interference to the I guess interference itself was also a signal, but it's like I'm in the sense of like, I think part of my intention is that to tell her that if she was looking for me to help and come close and care and be there and be supporting, that
wasn't a good way to do it.
There was something interfering with me doing that, and I wanted her to know that. Like if she was looking for me to help, I was struggling to help.
Because
and
of the
more
way,
just like,
yeah.
And so like, being more transparent about what was happening for me.
Yep.
To send, I guess, also in part, I think this is one of the reasons why I've come to value transparency and honesty and vulnerability is if all I can do is pick up, if all my experience is picking up signals, it depends on the quality and honesty of those signals. And so I kind of assume that it's the same in reverse, that if she is picking up any sort of signals for me, whether it's my body language or things that I'm saying, if I'm hiding something in my experience, it limits her ability to interpret me.
See, that's right. And the interference could be something like, she's not saying to you, will you help me do this? Because it's not clear to her that that's what she wants. and part of the deal is she may well have a story that if I ask for help, it means something. It might mean something about me, or I imagine it means something about him. That I'm going to interfere with his work to get help from him, or it might mean that I'm inadequate and so I need help. All sorts of other stories could be there that you don't know about, and she may not know about either. It may be totally unconscious.
Yeah.
So that's part of the deal, isn't it? As we learn to be more direct and transparent, I reckon that rubs off, and so that they will be that way back more so. But obviously there'll be times when, we feel a bit off and we don't know why. I had an experience like that a few weeks ago. I had a whole day where I felt I was really irritable. I had no idea why. There was no obvious reason why, and yet I was irritable, and anger was close to the surface.
I think the factor of judgment, I think, is an important one. Like if I think back to that experience, the interaction with my wife last weekend, when I approached her, there was probably some judgment still there. I would probably be lying if I said there wasn't, but it was very different from the past, where I would be much more saying like, you are behaving in a way that is unacceptable, for lack of a better term. Stop being stop being this way. You're ruining things. You're behaving badly.
Yeah. That's pretty manipulative, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't that way. It was more like this. It
was a description.
That like this is what's arising. This is what I'm experiencing. I don't need you to stop. I don't I can be okay with this.
Yep.
But I guess maybe this is a little bit of some projection, but like if I were her, I would want to know if the situation was reversed, I would appreciate her telling me how her antenna was picking up my signal.
Yep. And it would seem that the way you did it did have an effect on her, although she didn't become straight away aware of what was going on. She was aware of what was going on and recognized that there would be some value in, say, going for a drive or getting out of it for a while. Yeah. Relationships, eh? Yeah. Yeah, we can never know. All right, well, I'm going to go to bed now. It's 12:30 here.
Wow. I didn't notice the time. Yeah. Well, thanks for the time.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. Good stuff. Yeah.
See you, Vince.
See you later.